In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This week on Simulcast 247, we're talking about Nexus. All Nexus, all the time. And we'll talk about it all right here on the Simulcast. It is Wednesday, October 22nd. I'm Bill Stebbins, and you are listening to Simulcast 247. Patrick and I are back this week. We had to take off last week for some stuff, but we're here, and we really missed talking about Nexus stuff last week.
I know I did.
I certainly did. My wife is so sick of hearing about the Nexus stuff that she sent me downstairs and said, go talk to that guy on your podcast. So we missed Google's stuff last week. We got a lot to talk about. I mean, we'll get to, there's all kinds of Google stuff that's been going on, and I'm excited about it all. How about you, Patrick?
A lot of googly goodness.
Goodness. All right, well, we got two pieces of Apple news, and I'm going to run through those really quickly. The first one is that Apple fined a supplier $50 million for those leaks that we saw a while back.
That basically told us everything that was going to happen before it happened on the iPhone.
Yes. So note to subcontractors, those NDAs are in place for a reason, and Apple means business.
Collecting in China, that's another story.
Yeah. And then Apple had new iPads and Macs, and they also have finally bestowed Yosemite upon us. And you're on Yosemite, right?
Yes.
What do you think?
The quick rundown on that, Yosemite do not like the new dock versus the old dock. I actually like the old 3D effect of the old dock. Other than that, it works pretty good if it actually installs correctly. I actually had one of those issues where I installed it and then my laptop wouldn't boot, so I had to recover from Time Machine and then reinstall the update. Once it's installed, it's actually not bad. But as far as the other things, the things to know is that the iPad Air 2 looks pretty decent. The new Mini 3, don't bother. You're basically paying $100 more just to have Touch ID. Same internals as the Mini 2. If you want a Mini, get a Mini 2 refurbed through Apple, and you'll save a lot of money. Or just get a Nexus 9, as we'll talk about in a little bit. And then the iMac, they have a new 5K monitor. It starts off at $2,500, I believe, or $2,599. Not so sure sold on that yet, considering I don't know how well everything will look on a monitor like that when it's not really designed for it. And then the new Mac Minis, disappointed, no quad cores, and soldered in RAM, so you can't update your RAM anymore.
Wow, that's a heck of a rundown. Now, you said you had problems with Yosemite. I did not have a problem on my MacBook Air, which I'm actually running the podcast on, so thank goodness it didn't screw any of our podcasting stuff up. However, my Mac Mini refuses to install it. I've tried about 5 or 6 times, and it always tells me that it can't verify the installation, and so I've done about 10 different things to try and fix that, and it just doesn't want to install. So I'll just wait, I guess. It's not, aside from the translucent status bar, there's not a whole lot looks different if you're not an iOS user. I don't care about continuity. I've been doing continuity with Google Voice for a long time, and there's a lot of excitement over that feature, though.
I think the big thing is if you're an iOS user, the idea of the being able to switch back and forth the stuff from one to another. The improved AirDrop, if you use that function a lot, is nice. The encryption, I think, is the thing I like the most. They've added a whole layer of encryption where it encrypts the entire computer for you.
So if you're a fan of that stuff, there's a lot to it, and you should check it out. There's no reason not to install Yosemite for sure because it's free. I saw a lot of posts saying just wait. It doesn't seem buggy or anything. It just, if you can get it to install.
The install is the only thing I've seen people have trouble with, which is why it's important. Do your Time Machine backups before you do it, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. All right, so that's pretty much the rundown on the Apple stuff.
The only other thing is 8.1 came out yesterday.
Oh yeah.
For iOS, and Apple Pay is now available. Even though most of the reviews I said, one of them tried it at McDonald's, said it only worked 1 out of 3 times.
That's one of those features that people they don't care about. And I saw a lot of excitement in my stream yesterday about Apple Pay, how revolutionary it was.
I got an email from Capital One, my bank, saying, "We now support Apple Pay." Great. Leave me alone.
They do or do not?
They do. They updated their mobile app to support.
Oh, thank goodness. So, last week, Google didn't even have like announcements. They just kind of put out blog posts and here's the stuff. We got Nexus 6, Nexus 9, Nexus Player, Lollipop was announced. There was, and then they pulled the Nexus 7 and the Nexus, I think the Nexus 10 both were pulled. So there's a whole site that lists the 6, the 9, and the Player. Player is available for pre-order. The 9 was available for pre-order on Friday. The Nexus 6, I guess we can start with that, Patrick, because holy shit, it's coming to Verizon too?
Yes, I can't believe it. I think the only reason it is because one, the off-contract price is high enough.
Yeah.
And I think Verizon also learned if you don't sell it to people, people will go somewhere else.
They probably have been hearing that from me loud and clear. I'd like to think I had a hand in convincing them to carry the Nexus. You're welcome, people. So the Nexus 6, if you go and play with a Moto X 2014 edition, and then just kind of figure that that's going to be blown up by about an inch, that's pretty much what it is, right?
That's what it seems to be.
I played with the Moto X yesterday, the new one. Very nice, good feel in the hand. I've been watching lots of videos that I could get my hands on for the Nexus 6. The specs on the thing are pretty beastly. It is depending on what site you read, one said it was a 6.2-inch screen, and I don't know if what Google's quoting as a 6-inch screen does not include the soft buttons at the bottom, the on-screen keys. But it's somewhere around a 6-inch screen. It is a quad HD. Has it got 3 gigs of RAM?
I believe so.
32 gig or 64 gig. 3200 milliamp hour battery, basically the same one that's in the Note 4. I mean, it's like every nerd's dream, unless you don't like big phones. But I'm cool with it. And it's going to be $649 off contract for the 32, $699 for the 64 gig. People are freaking out over the price, Patrick.
I mean, it's not much more. It's actually still lower than what you're going to pay for equivalent flagship phone off contract.
The Note 4 on AT&T is $800-something. And you can get these on a carrier plan, so you can get them through Next or Edge or whatever you want if that's your thing. I personally am going to order from the Play Store as soon as it's available on the 29th.
I'm waiting to see, because if you can do it through the Play Store and have it work on Verizon, I'm going to look at doing it. But given how much trouble initially Sprint had for ones bought through the store last year with the Nexus 5, I'm going to wait it out a little bit.
That's probably wise. Did you watch any? I'm not a fan of The Verge at all. I unfollowed them a long time ago. I got sick of pretty much all their writers. But they did have a hands-on with the 9 and the 6. And they actually praised the camera, which I was like, hallelujah. So it's a 13 megapixel camera with optical. Yeah. So that's going to be fantastical, I hope. I mean, my only real complaints with the Nexus 5 were the battery life, which was the biggest complaint for me. And then the camera, not that it was terrible, but it wasn't the best camera. And I don't know that the Nexus 6 will have the best camera, but it sounds like it's going to be a whole lot of improvement.
According to Google's website, they quoted it as a 5.96-inch display.
Okay. So, yes.
But I do not see where that they list the RAM.
Yeah. But it is water resistant. It has Qi charging.
Yeah.
I mean, you tick off every spec that any of us nerds like, and it's gonna have the first. It's gonna be the first phone, hopefully, with Lollipop, unless Moto squeezes it out on something else first. We don't know exactly when we're going to be able to actually have this in our hands, but pre-orders are the 29th of October, which is next Friday? No, next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. My birthday.
See, and I wonder if I get it pre-ordered, I wonder when will it actually deliver?
Yeah, see,
that'll be my work at home day, whatever day that is.
The colors kind of throw me off, though. Not that I have a problem with the colors, but it's weird that they're not offering it in black.
I know. I got to go cloud white. I can't. I'm just not a blue.
Midnight blue.
So
looks like you got a Nokia phone.
Yeah, and I mean D-brand will have covers for them anyway.
Okay. So. And if you put it in a case, you won't have to worry about it.
Yes. So Nexus 6 looks to be a winner if big phones are your thing. If not, the Nexus 5 is sticking around. I don't think they're going to do any changes to the Nexus 5, but they're also probably going to keep the price the same. So and just to point out, when I bought my Galaxy Nexus on Verizon full price, it was like $649.
That's what I'm worried, is that if they do something along those lines, Verizon may make it where if you want to buy it, get it off contract, you have to buy it through them for them to activate it if they pull that kind of crap, and then they'll mark up the off contract. They've done that before.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them. I hope they don't. I hope they allow you to run the Play Store version. And surely Google's kind of thrown their weight around. But
hope.
Yeah, we'll see.
I would love to have seen them come back, and since the Nexus 5 stayed around, to finally release it on Verizon.
Yeah, that would have been nice. All right, so let's talk about the Nexus 9. This is an 8.9-inch tablet with a quad 8. We're going to have just quad HD running out our ears.
Yep.
This thing looks beastly. It's got some 6,700 milliamp hour battery. The 16 gig is $399. The 32 gig is $479. And then the LTE version is $599.
But we don't know when it's coming out.
Yeah, nobody knows when that's coming out. I said the hell with it. I ordered the 32 gig from Amazon.
Me too.
And it ships the 3rd of November. So it's going to be, I'm going to have you and I both, we're going to have a heck of a stretch there at the end of October, 1st of November. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but November 4th will be a fun day as I sit and wait for it to be delivered.
Oh, man, that's going to be rough.
At least it's a holiday, so I get to sit here.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine says by 8 p.m. I'm like, by 8 p.m. Really? So I'm gonna have to sit here and watch this. Everybody gets theirs delivered.
I figure it's election day. I'm gonna go vote early. That way, I know it's at a time when they don't deliver mail, and then come sit here and wait for the mail.
Yeah. So. The Nexus 9 is made by HTC. It has boom sound front-facing speakers.
As all tablets should now have. There's no reason not to.
Yeah, and the Nexus 7 was nice because it had dual speakers, but they were on the back. And there's not much bezel on the sides of the Nexus 9. There is still some top and bottom, but should make it a little more... You can carry it with one hand is kind of how they're touting it. I mean, the only thing it lacks is Qi charging.
Yeah. I was kind of disappointed in that because it seemed like Google was making a big push to make that a thing, but The only other thing that's kind of weird, but I'm open-minded to it, is that it's going back to a 4:3 aspect ratio.
That part I'm kind of excited about now that I've used a Nexus 7 for 2 years or whatever, because I want to be able to, like, I can log in through Citrix to work, and every time I do that, I want to use it in landscape, and it's just not as good of an experience being in landscape on a 7-inch 16 by 10 screen as it is on the bigger 4:3 screen. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open-minded to it. I mean, it works for the iPad, so.
Yeah, and I know I've said that I didn't like that aspect ratio on the I think I guess I've evolved in that regard because my usage has changed. I don't watch nearly as much video and stuff like that on it anymore.
It is interesting, though, the fact that you and I both pre-ordered through Amazon. Amazon doesn't offer the sand option. They only offer black and white.
Well, sand is not available anywhere as far as I know yet. They said it was going to be very limited anyway. So we shall see. I don't like the sand color. I ordered a black one, and the reason I did is because because of the white Nexus 7s, they got so grungy looking that I just don't think I could stand to have one.
It hurts your resale too later.
Yeah, and it's gonna be in a case anyway. So
yeah, so might as well just go plain black.
Yeah. So
I was kind of hoping they would have boosted it to at least 3 gigs of RAM, but
It's got an Intel Tegra K1, right?
Yeah, I mean it's the first 64-bit one. So I mean, I'd have put 4 gigs if it's me, but I guess they had to make sure they keep the price down.
Yeah, and I don't think the price is out of line. I mean, the Nexus 10 was close to that when it came out.
Yeah,
and it had some crazy screen too, and we'll see. I mean, I'm definitely excited about it. I've been wanting a bigger tablet for probably a year now, and I didn't want to get a Nexus 10 because it had some janky stuff, and I didn't want to get the LG G Pad because I knew it wasn't really going to get a lot of updates. And so,
the other thing that the Google page notes is that it's also going to have double tap to wake.
Yes, actually, that's a feature in Lollipop that if the hardware supports it, that it will support it.
Nice.
So that'll be on the Nexus 6 also.
Ooh.
Oh, and we didn't even mention the turbocharge. I guess it's the Nexus 6 has a turbocharger, so 15 minutes will get you 6-8 hours of extra usage.
Yeah, basically it's going to use the one that the new Motorola phone uses. It'll function with the Nexus 6 as well.
And it comes with that in the package, and that was something we've talked about before. That, I don't necessarily want. I mean, I want better batteries, but in the interim, can you not make it just faster to charge?
Yeah.
And it sounds like they've done that.
That's one thing I liked about my Note 3. Big battery, but it also, with the USB 3 charger, it charges really fast.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so that's kind of negated some of the problems for me with any battery issues is they charge so quick now. And, they would probably charge in 20 minutes if they were smaller batteries. That's the funny part. The Nexus Player is a $99. What is it? A cylinder?
Essentially, it's the new Google TV. It's now the Android TV. It's the first official player.
So
and it sounds like it's going to do some things with Chromecast though, because they've announced a new Chromecast 2.0.
So that'll be kind of neat. It's $99. I did not order one because I have 5 Chromecasts and those serve my purpose. I do know some people that were very interested in this because it is a standalone thing too. It's got a remote. You can buy a controller for it, and I mean, I'm interested.
Is the FCC finally approved it?
Yeah, they kind of jumped the gun there. So it's an interesting dynamic.
I think if Android TV takes off, it'll be interesting, but I don't know if I'd want to be a beta tester right now.
Yeah, not for $99 when the Chromecast does what I need it to.
Yeah. Although I think I may look into getting the new Chromecast 2.0 when it comes out. Supposedly it's going to support the 5 gigahertz.
Yeah, I'm good with my $25 Chromecasts or whatever I ended up paying for most of them, or the free one that you sent me.
Your birthday present.
Yep. Woo woo. Okay, so let's talk Android 5.0 Lollipop. Have you gotten to play with it at all?
I have not. I'm looking. I didn't want to play around with it on the device I already had, and I don't have my Nexus 7 anymore, so I haven't had as much chance. I didn't really get a chance to play with the Android L developer version, but the more I've read about it, the more I can't wait to play with it.
Look at this animation. Let me see if I can watch this little. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so sexy. There's animations like that all over.
You saw the Easter egg, huh?
Yep.
A floppy droid.
Yeah. Where is that? Let me find it.
So that's the one if you hit on the version, right? Multiple times.
And then you press and hold on Lollipop. Oh, I'm pressing and holding. There we go. Doink, doink.
Slight floppy words, except it's a droid.
Yep. And apparently it's super hard according to people. I don't know, my daughter tried it and she was like, what the? It is. It's super hard. I don't think I've gotten one. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. How do I? It's very sticky.
Like a lollipop?
Yeah. I see what you did there. So, this is actually not my Nexus 7. This is my wife's Nexus 7. I sold my LTE one in anticipation of my Nexus 9. And one of the great things about being a gadget person is if you're kind of savvy at it, you can sell your old stuff and offset a lot of the costs of the new one.
And what you don't sell, you give to your wife. She's happy to get it, and so she's fine with you buying a new one because she gets
exactly. So with the multi-account stuff, I'm using a separate account on there for mine for now. And when I'm done, I just wipe my profile off of it, and it's hers completely again. And I got to play with Lollipop. The developer previews have been updated to the latest version. They're out there if you have a 5 or a 7. My daughter's running the preview on her 5. Loves it. I think.
You think? You haven't heard any complaints?
Well, I've heard a few complaints, but I don't know if that's just her being her.
That's the usual complaints?
Yeah, she's just being her. She's being a 12-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm. So
I'm really excited for Lollipop. I can't wait for you to get to play with it too, Patrick, so we can compare notes.
Yeah. I have a feeling we'll be sending Google Hangouts a lot on the 4th once we get ours.
Yes. We'll have to open a hangout, like a group hangout,
and just say whoever's got Nexus 9s, let's talk.
Maybe by then we'll even have our 6s.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Because I wouldn't be opposed to getting mine from the carrier if I could get it like quickly. I guess the thing is, like T-Mobile said, theirs was going to be like mid-November. I don't want to wait that long. So.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Verizon because Verizon wasn't even officially announced early on, but they've confirmed later. But they haven't confirmed when they're getting it. I'm okay waiting and seeing because I'm happy with my Note 3 for now, but I do think at some point I will do it just so I know I'll get updates.
Yeah. Remember when Verizon had the Galaxy Nexus? They were like months. It kept getting delayed, and it was the worst flipping experience.
Yeah.
It was the worst. That was when I first switched over to Verizon. It's the
I
worst.
keep telling myself at some point we'll get rid of CDMA and we won't have this problem anymore.
I know. Can't come soon enough. I'm going to get a couple other things out of the way. If you've been waiting for a OnePlus, their pre-order system is starting next week, but it's only for an hour, and it's going to be a big cluster. So that's not really going to solve a whole lot. But they are moving towards a pre-order system, and for 1 hour, you'll be able to pre-order your OnePlus if you're still inclined to buy one.
And don't you happen to be selling one?
Yeah. Yeah, somebody may be selling theirs in anticipation of a Nexus 6, and it could be one of us on this podcast. So if you're interested, hit me up.
In pretty much mint condition.
Yeah, that's right. It is. It's mint condition, and it is on Swappo right now. Right now.
Why deal with pre-order headaches?
Let's see. The Droid Turbo. We've seen some leaks of this thing, and it looks pretty nice, but it's got physical, like, capacitive buttons, Patrick.
Yeah, I think I'd rather just the Nexus 6.
Yeah, I mean, the specs are pretty beastly, but I have a feeling, I mean, there's some stigma with me about the Droid crap, especially on Verizon.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
Yeah. It does look very nice, except for those capacitive buttons, which drive me insane.
See, I'd still rather the Nexus 6 because at least it's going to have ROM support.
Yeah. But if the Droid Turbo is your thing, it's coming out soon. Soon-ish. We've seen leaks of it. It comes in red. Google yesterday announced, I forget what it's called, but enhanced two-step with the actual physical USB key.
Which helps probably very few people, considering most things you either don't have access to USB, like at work or something, or it's a phone, which doesn't have USB.
I think it's neat if you're one of those tin foil hat people. I'm fine with just using my authenticator app on my phone or my tablet.
Yeah, just have it text me.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's that.
Because I'm sure people at a lot of, like, I'm sure your work and my work wouldn't be too keen on people using a physical key in order to launch stuff.
Yeah, stuff starts popping up all over the place if I plug anything, even my work issued USB key. Yeah, that's insane. But if that is your bag, that's now there. And then today, I was kind of following this story. I don't know if you saw it, Patrick. Android Police published a rumor about Google Big Top. It's kind of a replacement, a sort of replacement for Gmail, and that it was going to be launching today. And like not 10 minutes later, it launched. It's basically Inbox by Google. And if you imagine Google takes Gmail and marries it up with Google Now so that your email and all your management of that is much more relevant when you need it. And I was very fortunate. Shout out to Ryan and a buddy of mine for sending me an IM saying, hey, follow this Googler on Twitter. He's got invites. And so it wasn't 30 minutes and I got an invite for Inbox by Google. So I've been playing with it all day. There's iOS and Android apps, and it's very jarring at first because it's not the Gmail I've been using for the last 5 or 6 years. And I'm like, well, where's this? Where's this? And then after about 10 minutes, I'm like, I dig this. This is going to work. So I'm supposed to get some invites on Friday, Patrick, so I'm going to get you on, definitely.
Cool.
You'll be hooked up.
Woo-hoo.
So I don't even know how to describe. Android Police has, I think it's Android Police, has about a 10 or 11 minute video on Inbox. Go and look at that, and you can kind of see how it is. It's really cool because, and some other apps have already done this, like Mailbox kind of did it, and a couple other ones. You can pin things to your inbox. You can kind of put them off till later. Specify a time. You can mark them as done, and which kind of archives them. You can delete them. You can recategorize them, and it's a really big paradigm shift from what we're used to. And the app looks amazing as well, but it's good stuff. I really like it. So hopefully you guys can get in on that soon.
Sweet.
Yeah. So just go watch the videos. Those will explain it more elegantly than I have. But just know that I am already in, and I have no invites. So sorry.
Of course, you're Bill, the Internet Stebbins.
That's right. And I know Ryan. He hooked me up. All right. So Patrick, we didn't get anybody telling me what I should do about my carrier dilemma. Not one comment.
So what did you do?
I canceled my Verizon.
What?
I know the rep yesterday could not believe that I was canceling my unlimited data and going to AT&T.
I'd have at least sold them bastards.
Well, I was going to, and it just seemed like a big hassle.
Yeah, because technically, I guess if they didn't pay, they'd find some way to come back to you.
Yeah, it'd be a. I was just like, just get me out of here. And my argument last week was a whole lot more compelling when I was talking to the customer service rep to find out my ETFs, because I'm like, I want to use a Nexus device on Verizon. The only one I could get is this tablet, and you guys wouldn't even support that. Blah blah blah. And then when I called them yesterday, they're like, well, we're getting the Nexus 6, and I'm like, yeah, I know, but it was too late because I had already gotten the lines on AT&T. So sorry. I ended up with double data, so I got 40 gigabytes for myself, my daughter, and my wife.
Basically more than you'll ever need.
Yeah, I hope. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you got into a situation where you really needed more than that, it'd probably be a one-time thing, and you could just pay the overage for that 1 month.
Yeah. But my daughter has a Nexus 5. I bought one off Craigslist for her. She's thrilled with it. She's getting, actually, the battery life on AT&T seems, I know that there's been articles about T-Mobile having the best battery life, but I think that's only assuming that you have signal everywhere. So battery life on AT&T's been pretty darn good. She's coming home from school with like 75% battery life still. I bought our buddy Todd Wright sold me a Note 3. It's actually a T-Mobile version that's unlocked. So my wife got that last night, and she's hooked up. And I've been using my OnePlus, and this is how screwed up my life is. I'm going to be using a Note 2 from Verizon on AT&T for the next couple weeks. Yeah. I'm going to be begging.
Is this the wife's old Note 2?
The what?
The wife's old Note 2?
Yeah. So it's only HSPA Plus on Verizon or on AT&T. So.
But you're on Wi-Fi a lot, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I am at work and stuff, and I'm not tethering off of it. So we have guest Wi-Fi, so I just use that for now.
And at least HSPA Plus, it won't be that huge of a drop.
Yeah, it won't, but still,
you'll know.
The nerd, he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm gonna sell this OnePlus while the pre-orders aren't there." And
yeah, get while you can.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. So far, I'm happy with AT&T. They were very easy to deal with. I went last night and ported our 2 numbers, which I use Google Voice, but I still have my cell phone number I've had for a long time, and I figured why not just keep it just in case.
Yeah.
Porting was really painless. It took about 10 minutes once we sat down with the rep, and then it was instant. Boom, there's your new number.
It's also nice to have a phone where you just pop a SIM in and it's not yours.
Yep, that's true. And it was funny. I was missing phone calls last night and today. My laptop was ringing, but I couldn't figure out why my phone wasn't. And then I realized that I had turned off Google Voice forwarding because I had that as my tablet number for so long. So I fixed that.
Nice.
So I'm excited about the prospect of being able to buy unlocked phones, and in the grand scheme of things, it probably doesn't matter because the Nexus is going to be my device for probably the next year based on what I see. But still, Verizon really kind of screwed the pooch with all their throttle talk and all that stuff. They're going to do this and that unlimited data stuff. And I'd been a customer for like 5 years, and I'd been paying full price for devices to keep my unlimited data. And so they just lost out on a couple $100 a month for basically nothing. They stirred a whole lot of stuff up, and nothing ever came of it. All it did was drive me away.
Yeah, well, of course, the FCC kind of came in and said, "You're going to do what?"
Yeah.
No, you're not. But yeah, I think at some point they're going to find some way at some point. So you're just ahead of the game on that point.
Yeah.
They're gonna lose tons of customers as soon as they get rid of unlimited data.
Yeah, for a very small percentage of their population, they're gonna. It doesn't seem like it's gonna save them anything because I would have been paying less actually for their data plan than I was paying for my unlimited data, and I still would have been using the same amount of data because we use I think like 20 something gigabytes a month between all of us. So there really was no net gain, even if they'd have pushed me off unlimited data or started throttling me.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid, and it's a typical corporation, mentality.
Yep.
So there we go. My wife's thrilled now. She has unlimited texting. She has a Note 3, which is super fast, and battery life's really good on it, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's even bigger as far as the screen, and I got her a pink back.
Did you convert her to Qi charging?
I ordered it. I haven't gotten it yet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the $10 one. So it'll be here tomorrow.
Nice.
Yep. So we're all hooked up. All right, so you want to follow us. Here's how you can do it. We are google.com/plus the Simulcast. We are at the Simulcast on Twitter. And we are on Facebook. We are, what is that? Facebook.com/the Simulcast. That is fairly newly updated. It's been a while since we've been pushing any content there. I finally got off my duff and fixed that a couple weeks ago. So like us on Facebook, please. Or Patrick, you can email me and you at the podcast at thesimulcast.com with questions, comments, show ideas.
If you want to come on.
That's right. And we have a Push Bullet channel. So you can subscribe to us. I've linked that in the show notes. Our channel tag is the Simulcast. So you can go in and subscribe to us and get notified instantly when we update our podcast or any other content that goes on the site. So pretty much just the podcast. Leave us a voicemail, 203-903-CAST. We will play your drunken or non-drunken voicemails on the air as well. So, Patrick, we'll go to the casting couch. And all that I have had time to watch and all that I care to watch is Sons of Anarchy. It is a complete... It's like a runaway train, and I just don't want to jump off yet.
Lots of anarchy.
Man.
I've been hearing lots about it. I've never really gotten into it, but I guess that's because I need to sit down and start from the beginning. I don't like coming into a show without like watching the early episodes.
Yes, it's definitely worth doing that because there is so much backstory and the characters evolve so much. But this is like the final half of the last season, and so they are just pulling out all the stops. It's like you always think, well, they couldn't do away with that character, and then boom.
So they're going with the George R. R. Martin school of character development.
Pretty much, they're just setting everything on fire, and
pew pew pew, you're dead.
I mean, Kurt Sutter's a crazy dude anyway. He doesn't care. But I love that show. My wife's into it too, so that helps.
Cool. Yeah, that's always good when you can have something you share.
That's right. Even if it is about a bloody motorcycle gang. So what about you?
I've been watching The Flash, which has really been really good. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., especially because I'm curious to see how they start leading into the Avengers 2, which if you haven't seen the trailer, it leaked today. It's really awesome. And Gotham, which is really good. I wasn't sure. I was kind of skeptical whether it was going to be good or not. And then finally Scorpions, which I think is a really good show.
You know, I saw some people talking about Flash and Gotham, and I have not gotten to watch either.
They are both good.
I need to do that. All right, so picks of the week. My pick this week is Nexus, and I've linked just the page with Nexus stuff. Nexus 6, Nexus 9, all the Nexus.
Nexus!
My anti-pick is T-Mobile. If that may be surprising. I canceled my T-Mobile line, which I was using my OnePlus on, I think it was last week. And they said, no problem. Don't pay your bill yet. Wait for the final bill. And I couldn't pay it online anyway because as soon as you cancel your line on T-Mobile, they shut off your account and you can't do anything with T-Mobile. Today I got a call from a collections department at T-Mobile wanting me to pay my bill, but I have not gotten the final bill yet. So needless to say, I was not a happy camper. And I never got a response from T-Mobile either on Twitter. Jerks. That's interesting. If you sing their praises on but they're sorry to leave you. I really liked T-Mobile as a company up until that point. What about you this week, Patrick?
So I'm picking something that's a little older, but recently I'd set it up for my mom, so it's the first time I'd kind of gone through the whole process again and kind of gave me a new affinity for it, is Google Cloud Print, which if you've never used it, it's a really great service. Basically all you need to do is set up a computer with Chrome and log into your account and add that printer that's connected to that computer, and then you can set it up on your Android device and print from anywhere in the world where you have internet access back to that printer. And you can set up multiple printers. And so it's a great way. Let's say you get an email with coupons or something, you can sit there, print it, have it waiting on your printer at home, or movie tickets, have it print, go home, grab it. You don't need to stop and push something to another device and print it. You can print straight from your Android device or from your laptop with Google Cloud Print. I actually used it the other day for instructions to show my mom how to do something. I just printed it and told her, hey, go look over at your printer. And because I set myself up as my Google account as a permitted access, and I just printed it and had it waiting on her printer for her.
Sweet. I love it.
And I mean, it's free, which is great.
Definitely.
I mean, AirPrint, you have to be on the same Wi-Fi network. This, you can print from anywhere.
And it works really well with the Chromebook.
Yeah.
Very cool. Patrick, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Twitter, handle LSULaw2009. You can find me on Google+. Go to plus.technicallylegal.net and you'll find all my Google Plus access, or you can just search for me. And you can email me at patrick@thesimulcast.com.
Okay, and I'm Bill Stebbins, at Bill Stebbins on Twitter, google.com/plus Bill Stebbins for all my other social media. I will, we didn't mention it on the show, we're going to be moving to an every 2-week format. Just to try and free up some of our time and make better use of the time that we have on the podcast, so that we're not really don't have a lot of news. So this will kind of allow us to do every 2 weeks, and kind of have some news in the can. And I guess every once in a while we can do a special show if we really have time and feel like something special like Nexus Week or iPhone Week or something like that.
New Device Week.
New Device Week, yeah. So I would imagine the week the week we get our Nexus 9/6, we're gonna be chomping at the bit to talk.
Yeah, and then as we discover all kind of new cool things to do with them.
Yep.
And then when you get your Nexus 6, because then you're gonna make me want to have to go out and buy one.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm a bad influence on a lot of people, and I apologize.
See, I consider that a good influence. I consider that positive peer pressure.
That's right.
Otherwise, I'd probably still be on a Thunder.
That's true. Everything was wrong with the Thunderbolt.
I have it still sitting in a drawer somewhere at my backup.
There you go. All right, so with that, we won't be here next week. We will be here the following week because that'll be Nexus Week. So in the meantime, interact with us on the social media stuff. We're very responsive.
Yes.
We love our listeners, so hit us up. Good night, peoples.